Hey guys, what's going on? So today I have an album review for GORGASM's Bleeding Profusely. So yeah, great album. The first full length from GORGASM. Their first release was Stab Wound Intercourse, but this is their first like full length album. Although it's about the same length as Stab Wound Intercourse. It's a really short album. It's like I want to say around 20 minutes long. This is definitely my favorite GORGASM release, and I'll talk about why. Let's start with the packaging. There's some really cool, like the layout and stuff of the CD I enjoy. Neat little album cover, not the best album cover ever, but it's not a bad album cover at all. Just a simple, knife with pool of blood. I don't know, it's cool. Not their best album cover. I think Masticate to Dominate and Stab Wound Intercourse probably their most iconic, but it's definitely probably it's actually probably their most clean album cover too. The other ones have a lot of crazy shit going on. There's the disc. Kind of a cool disc cover as well. Bleeding Profusely back there. Oh, I forgot to read the song titles. So you got Bleeding Profusely, Morbid Overgrowth, Stripped to the Bone, Fucking the Viscera, which is my favorite track on the album. Voracious, The Essence of Putrescence, Postcoital Truncation, Severed Ecstasy, Lesbian Stool Orgy, Fisticunt, and Disembodied. So obviously, from those song titles, you already know what kind of album this is, but this is not like just some generic, super nasty, brutal death metal. There are actually a lot of things about GORGASM that make them kind of a unique brutal death metal band, which I will talk about. Booklet's kind of neat. You got the knives with their faces on them. And then this little layout with like a knife. Yeah, and the lyrics, just checking to see if it was upside down. Thank yous and stuff. This was put out through Unique Leader Records. Well, originally it was put out through Extremities Productions. It says that on the back here, but on the disc it says Unique Leader. I ordered this from Unique Leader Records' website, so this is obviously a Unique Leader pressing. Probably the most recent pressing, obviously, because I got it from their website. But anyways, if you don't know GORGASM, they play like that early Unique Leader Records style of brutal death metal, like, a lot of blast beats, pretty technical, but not the flashy kind of technical. Like technical in the sense of a band like Suffocation, very Suffocation-y type stuff actually. Pretty low vocals, maybe a few slammy-ish riffs here and there, but it's not. It's definitely far from being like slamming brutal death metal. But there's a few like kind of slammy riffs here and there, like Suffocation. So it's got some groove, but for the most part, it's very grindy, very blast beaty. The thing that makes GORGASM unique, though, is they put in elements of melody here and there. So if you're a fan of, like, melodic, almost, like, pretty-sounding shit, there's a few moments on this album you will enjoy. But the thing is, though, like, the melodic, kind of, like, pretty-sounding melodies here and there, they're sprinkled throughout this album. It's not all fucking melodic. It's actually mostly, fast, chromatic shit. But once in a while there's like a little melodic solo or a little melodic riff, and that's sprinkled in combination with the really edgy and like fucked up and even maybe a little generic lyrics makes it like for a very unique and very like it makes you feel kind of sick to your stomach kind of feel in some parts, and it's just, and I mean that in the best way possible. I mean I don't know, just when you hear like if you read the lyrics and then hear like the melodies, it just creates this really eerie kind of feel. Anyways, the opening track, Bleeding Profusely, great song, pretty straightforward. There's not really any melodic stuff going on there. Opens up with a little sample, like some you hear like some chains rattling and someone like gagging or something. It's pretty cool. Good track. Morbid Overgrowth is one of my favorites. It has a melodic solo in there, kind of neoclassically. It's kind of like that neat, like, not quite mellow death, but like, I guess maybe like Heartwork. Oh, kind of mellow death, but not like girlfriend metal mellow death. Like, think like Heartwork era Carcass kind of melody sprinkled in there. Like that neoclassical kind of stuff in Morbid Overgrowth makes it a really standout song. Stripped to the Bone, again, has that kind of melodic stuff. Really cool. I'm kind of making this sound like it's a really melodic album. It's still heavy as fuck and just as brutal as like Deeds of Flesh or Disgorge or something like that. Fucking the Viscera is my favorite song on the album. It opens up with a sample from The Exorcist 3, and it's such a good sample, and it cuts into the song, and then it's just such a fast song, and I don't know, the vocal parts and the vocal patterns and the lyrics and everything, just the way it all comes together on that song is just so intense, and it's just such a, like, just vicious song. It's just fantastic. Voracious, another great track on the album. There's one part where there's like this like a vocal break with some double bass under it, and it sounds really heavy and really just like fucked up. The Essence of Putrescence has some really, I think it's either The Essence of Putrescence or Post-Coital Truncation has like a technical but melodic riff that I really enjoy. Severed Ecstasy and Lesbian Soldier are cool. I think the best tracks on here are the first 5. Fisticunt is one of the best on the album. It's kind of melodic, but again, really fast, really chuggy. I forgot to mention there are some slammy riffs on here, like especially in Voracious and the title track. It's like kind of slammy, but they aren't like they're not like hip hoppy sounding slams like you'd hear from a band like Devourment or Soils of Fate or something. They're more like I don't know. They're more like the kind of like they're just like these like short little chromatic patterns that are very straightforward. Not a lot of groove, but it's like a chuggy short little riff. But you could call it a slam. But anyways, in Fisticunt, there's this one really iconic part where the lyrics get really dumb and you can make out what he's saying. The "I'll fist fuck you bitch" part, and then it goes right after that into this really like eerie, slow sounding riff, and it's so fucking edgy and like stupid, but just that riff that goes after that lyrical part just makes you feel fucking sick, and it's so fucking good. Yeah, I mean, the lyrics on here are stupid, so if you want good lyrical content, then don't listen to this, but if you want good lyrics, don't listen to brutal death metal in general, because that's not the point. Because the point is to be fucking, you know, intense and fucking edgy and stuff. Anyways, but that's like a great ending to that song. Disembodied is a really cool song. It's a re-recording that was on Stab Wound Intercourse. It's a really good song, but I feel like the placement of that on the album isn't really that great. I think it'd be a lot cooler if Fisticunt was the last song on the album with that eerie ending, and it just fades off to the end of the album. I feel like that would be perfect. And Disembodied could have gone anywhere else in the album, but hey, what can you do? It's a pretty short album, but there's a lot of substance to it, which I really enjoy. It's not just, like, they could have made this a really long, I don't know if they could have made this a really long album, but they could but there's enough dynamics in here to give this substance. It's not just short because, like, there's a lot of brutal death metal albums where it's short because there isn't much you can do in more than, like, half an hour with that kind of style. But for a 22-minute album, there are plenty of dynamics in here. I mean, there's, like I said, there's some slower, more eerie parts, like, once in a while. There's those chuggy, chromatic, kind of slammy riffs. There's like 3 different vocalists going at once. GORGASM has never been just one vocalist, so there's a lot of variation between the vocalists. You got some highs, some like mids. For the most part, they're mostly like some like mid, straightforward growls. Lyrics are pretty intelligible if you read along, to be honest. And then there's a few like super low, like toilet bowl type stuff with the vocals. But there's not a ton of that. GORGASM doesn't really have like the most disgusting vocals, but they are very effective and like aggressive. This is just a very aggressive album. What was I going to say? I don't know. The sound has this very dark feel to it, and that's why I think it's GORGASM's best. It's like around a little over 20 minutes long, but there's plenty of dynamics in here, which is very unique also for a brutal death metal band of that really blasty, grindy style, which I think is really cool. And GORGASM definitely stand out, and all their albums are pretty good. I mean, fucking Stab Wound Intercourse is a great EP. I know a lot of people really love that one. This is my favorite personally. The album after this, Masticate to Dominate, I'll actually probably review next. That's also a great album. I don't like that as much as this one, but that one's really popular as well. Orgy of Murder was pretty good, and I have not listened to their latest album. I think it was like Destined to Violate or something. But yeah, honestly, I would probably give this like a 9 out of 10. If this were just a little bit longer, and if like I said, if Fisticunt was the last song instead of Disembodied, it would probably make this a little better. But this is still really damn good. And if you want some good but kind of, I don't know, upon first listen when you don't pay attention to the melodic stuff, this might sound generic to you. But if you want that late 90s, early 2000s, like unique leader type stuff, but with a little bit more dynamic stuff going on in the songs than just blast beats constantly and then some chromatic chuggy riffs like you would get from a band like Discord or something. You enjoy this. This is a little technical also, but it's never overwhelmingly technical. Like, it's always fairly easy to tell what's going on here if you're a seasoned death metal listener. It's not like some bands like, say, like Disgorge or Deeds of Flesh, where you'll listen and you'll be like trying to keep, or even with like Brodikin, where you're like listening and trying to keep up with what's going on. I really like that kind of technicality, but if I don't feel like listening super closely, Gorgasm is also cool. I'm not saying that they're dumbed down or anything. Like I said, they do have little sprinkles of technicality here and there, but it's never over the top or flashy either, really. There's also a lot of like tritone, kind of evil sounding stuff on here. This is just a very, like I said, the song has a very dark and evil feel to it. But yeah, Gorgasm, Bleeding Profusely, fantastic album. That's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. See you next time.